Hey everyone, welcome back to episode number 20 of Kyler Speaks, where yours truly talks about everyday life and everything in between. Today, I want to talk about something that has almost been a plague on our society, and I don't think that the majority of people can even foresee the potential ramifications that these actions can cause. And I know it sounds like I'm an unk, or whatever it may be. I don't even know the words that are cool nowadays. I know I'm old, right? With that being said and put out of the way, I have to say that I can no longer stay silent about what is happening in the world of streaming. It's insane to me. It's insane to me. And I don't blame the streamers at all. These people like Kai Cenat, Aiden Ross, Neon, I have no idea. The rest of them, they're just kids. Some of them should know fucking better, but the majority of them are just kids. And they're tasked with entertaining people, right? They entertain people. The problem is they haven't lived life. They don't have anything to say. And when you have to entertain people and you don't actually hold anything valuable to offer your audience, you resort to stupidity. You resort to pranks and things that are just fucked up. You do fucked up things because people cannot turn away from a car crash. And I get it. I'm guilty of it too. If I see some preposterous, crazy thing online, I stop and I watch. That's human nature. But the exploitation of human nature is the problem. And I don't blame these kids. They're making millions of dollars more. I mean, some are literally making hundreds of millions. And I don't blame them at all. You have to feed yourself, you have to take care of your own. I mean, a lot of them have probably helped their family out tremendously, gotten them out of poverty, changed their whole lineage, not just their lives, but their lineage, generational wealth from streaming. The problem is they are basically just being pushed by these big brands, by advertisements, whoever's willing to pay them. They're a whore for hire. They're just a whore. They're a brand whore. And that's ad rev. You know, they get sponsorships, they promote products. That's how they're making their money. The difference is 20 years ago, when you saw a Kellogg's commercial for cereal, you didn't know the actors that were playing the consumers in the commercial. Nowadays, these kids that are watching these streams feel as if they know the streamers. They feel as if they're best friends with them. They know everything about them. That's the problem. It's a way different thing for a stranger trying to sell you something versus someone that you feel as if you intimately know. If someone you intimately know is selling you something, it's almost as if your brother or your mom or your father or a coworker is recommending you something, saying this is going to enhance or change your life. It'll impact your life in a positive way. You need to buy it. And that social acceptance, right? It's like a plague for these streamers. What they're doing is they're causing mass plagues. They're promoting things that aren't good. Sorry. I don't think Zen should be promoted to kids. Call me whatever you like. I'm a fucking millennial. So I was born in 1996. I know, I'm old to some of you. And to others, you might understand where I'm coming from. I'm not hating on the people, right? This is just the next Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. It's just a way to get your attention. Attention is the currency of the 21st century. We're just getting attention. And nothing's wrong with getting your attention. I could be getting someone's attention because I know that a building is on fire and I'm trying to save their lives. Getting attention isn't the problem. It's what you do with the attention that is the problem. And hey, somebody has to do it. As humans, we are predispositionally wired to create a social hierarchy, and we will deem people famous. That's one of the double-edged, sworded side effects of the internet is you can broadcast yourself to literally hundreds of millions of people. So you get that social validation through your peers that you know in real life, through watching someone that you think you know on the internet. I just don't see this going in a positive way. I liked it more in the early 2000s when people actually had something to say and they had morals. Nowadays, it's whoever is willing to pay me more money. Do I like Coke or do I like Pepsi? I don't know. Who's offering me a larger check? That's the issue we're dealing with. And it's not fair to kids because children don't realize, their brain's not even fully matured. They don't fucking know. They're not realizing what is being done to them. If something is free, then you are the product. They are the product. That's the way it works. These streamers aren't doing these extravagant things for their mental sanity. They're doing it because they know that if they can gain attention, they'll get massively benefited by all of these big brands. The big brands are doing the same exact thing they've always done. They're just going to where the attention is. That's why the Super Bowl, even with the Super Bowl kind of falling off here lately, it's definitely not as popular as it used to be. And that's with all the controversial things aside, just the views of the Super Bowl. That is where all the attention is. For Sunday, all the attention, Super Bowl Sunday, is stuck to the television. You are transfixed and your Sunday is gone. You make an event out of it. That event is simply just to sell you things. That's the reason why the Super Bowl exists now. It's a side effect of what gets your attention. And they get your attention in order to sell you things. Right? That's all it is. I just don't think it's the same when you're talking about people streaming. I don't think it's the same. Because they have, like I said, they have nothing to say. And so all they do is resort to stupid pranks that harm people and that don't benefit the world. And am I content police? No, do whatever the fuck you want. But I think that these kids can't differentiate between real connections that they would have in the real world with no strings attached and someone that they watch 24/7 online and feel as if they know with strings attached because they're constantly feeding their audience all this nonsense. They're feeding them products. They're sponsored by this, they're sponsored by that. And a sponsorship isn't even bad, guys, but children don't know the difference. Children think they know these people. They know these people. They feel so close to these people. Celebrity used to be something that was almost safeguarded. They wanted privacy. They were in, Beverly Hills, 90210, or the Bird Streets up, to where they were behind guarded gates and 12-foot fenced walls to where you couldn't see the inside life of a celebrity. It was kept private. So you didn't gain an attachment to that celebrity like you do now. Back then, you admired people for their work, being mainly actors because actors hold your attention. That's simply it. It was famous people that were on a television screen because that was the medium used at the time that was the most effective towards gaining and capturing the largest audience. Now it's the internet. But you didn't feel like you knew those celebrities like you feel like you know these celebrities. It's a different thing. It's a much different thing. That's like comparing a go-kart to a Bugatti. Yeah, they both have wheels. Yeah, they both can technically transport you places from A to B. But one is just vastly different than the other. It's disproportionately different on a scale that you can't even fathom. These people know that their audience thinks of them as their friends. When have you ever been exposed to a celebrity for 24/7, 24/7, Just 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. You get to see them brush their teeth. You get to see what products they use for shampoo and conditioner. You get to see where they eat. You get to live life with them. And that point of view style video, I guess, is almost dangerous within itself because it's a side effect, right? It's a side effect of kids not going out and meeting people in real life. They are so reclusive now. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the news that scared the parents into thinking that the world is an unsafe place. And sure, is it unsafe? Sometimes. Depends on where you live, I guess. But does it mean that your kids shouldn't go out and experience real life with real people their age? Now they're just on their screens. It's almost like an infectious virus that causes you to stare into oblivion at something that you take out of your pocket, your cell phone. You stare at the screen. That's all you do. It captures your attention, and it's very strategic and it's very calculated. It's like giving a child access to a slot machine. All the lights, the bells and whistles, the uncertainty of outcome. It's designed that way. And I don't know if it should be outlawed. I know that here recently, social media has been at least halted for children. This happened. I know for a fact it happened in Australia, as of recent. They have banned children from having the access to social media. Social media is a tool to people like me and you. It's a tool to, and I don't even use it as a tool for this. I mean, just in general for business. If you're promoting a product, etc., if you're trying to get the word out, if you are even promoting yourself, because you are the product. And in a lot of cases, that is what businesses become. They're based on someone personable. And that was basically because they were attempting to do what streamers have mastered, which is get into a consumer's head on a more personalized basis. Like it's personable. I know you and I trust you. And certain people I do trust, but I don't trust these kids because they don't know anything. They're just making money. That's all they're doing. They haven't really lived life yet. They don't really have life experience like someone who's 40 or 50. And some of them grew up extraordinarily hard. They had really, really tough circumstances. I understand that. I'm not upset at these kids for making money and transforming their lives for the better. That's not the point here. The point is that this has gotten out of control. The only time I see anything goes viral that has to do with streamers is controversy or negative publicity or violence or just it's all negative. Like I seen the other day someone got slapped, right, because he was antagonizing this big ass guy's wife, which for the record, I don't recommend doing that, especially if you're about, I don't know, like 5'9", 5'10", skinny, young kid, and he is being totally disrespectful to a grown-ass man, a ripped, steroided out grown-ass man's wife. Yeah, you're gonna get the shit beat out of you. I think this guy got hit twice, 2 different occasions. He's just a troll. But that's such, he gets incentivized to do that because he's like, hey, people are paying attention to me. Let me be more outlandish than ever. Let me take that and let me run with it. So they run with it. That's their stick. That's what they do. They get attention. And if you don't have anything to say that's valuable, if you haven't lived through life and have things to genuinely offer to the world, whether through words or anything under the sun, if it's not positive, then that's what you resort to. Because if they were stuck, and I don't think they should be because I don't want to pigeonhole anyone, but if you were stuck just speaking about life experience, they would have none. Now, of course, they would have a lot of life experience in their personal life that they don't show you because they're making an immense amount of money. So they get to go to the Bahamas, and I don't fault them for that. They were the founders and the originators of in real life broadcasting and live broadcasting that showed you insight into how someone actually lives. Although I don't even know, I think that that is a false perspective within itself because you're watching someone that doesn't live a realistic life and you're watching someone that you know knows that they are on camera. And people act different when they're on camera. That's why I myself am creating 100 episodes of Kyler Speaks so I can get to know you guys and you can get to know me. But on top of that, it's so I can feel more comfortable in front of a camera. It's very strange to speak into a camera with no one else around you. It's almost maddening. Like 15 years ago, you'd be locked away for doing this if you were staring at, I don't know, like a box of tissue paper or a fire hydrant and you were just yelling at it or speaking to it and having a dialogue with it that would lock you in a loony bin. But now it's acceptable. And I get it. What you're attempting to do is totally different. One, you believe that an inanimate object is having a conversation with you, and the other is so you can broadcast yourself to others. But it's not natural. It's not normal. And I don't care. I do it because I'm trying to build something genuine here. But I'm not faulting anyone. Make your fucking money. Kids, make your money. Anyone, whether you're a kid, whether you're, I support, someone I do know that does streaming is Rampage, Quentin Rampage Jackson. I think he has the perfect personality. And the funny thing is he's always been that character. It's just he has a different medium to express it on now. He had always been that crazy, funny, hilarious, off the rails sort of guy. But he's extremely intelligent. He knows how to capture attention. That's why he did so good in the UFC. And before that, with his entire fight catalog, his career. He knew how to captivate an audience. He knew what people liked. He added backstory. He had you rooting for him. You had others that would pray to see his downfall. Like in almost a Floyd Mayweather type sense. Like, I want to see this motherfucker get knocked out. And on top of that, he worked tremendously hard and he was an amazing athlete and an amazing fighter. Yeah, but I respect what he's doing because he's always been that person. He's in a new medium. And why is that any different from what these streamers are doing? It's not. He's not really giving life advice. He's not putting positivity into the universe. You're just like a fly on the wall. But you're not a fly on the wall because they know that you're paying attention to them. That's why they act so outlandish to begin with, is because they know that it retains your attention. It keeps you transfixed upon your screen. That's the main thing here. That's the problem. And what I really don't like, if we're really going deep into the woods, these creators are just pawns, right? They're just pawns to promote products. The second they fall off and no one watches them, then sponsors will pull out. They won't continue to send them a check every month. When AI gets indistinguishable from reality, and we can make AI videos of people that don't even exist, they're not even real, and yet it seems so real, and they can program them to be absolutely perfect. There will be no scandals, there will be no, everything will be calculated, even if it seems as if it's not calculated. How are we going to know the difference between that and an actual person that's feeding us nonsense in order to promote products for these big corporate entities and massive conglomerate brands? We're not. And even if we did know, the scariest thing about this entire AI deepfake thing is that I hope to God we care. I know that it would bother the living shit out of me if I found out that Joe Rogan was completely artificially constructed and he wasn't a real person. I wouldn't hold the same sense of connection to his podcasts. I wouldn't think of him, I wouldn't think of it in the same way. I would think of it more so as in I felt manipulated and I felt betrayed. I care about who it comes from. I want to have a genuine connection with people, sure, but I want to have a genuine connection with people. And when people are selling me things, they should just be like, hey, and I get it, they can't do that because then people wouldn't buy it. That is showing, it's revealing what's behind the curtain, like in The Wizard of Oz. It would totally break their business model. It's just food for thought. I don't think it's a positive shift within our society. I don't think that it's going to end up very well. I mean, we can see what it's doing. People need that connection. And here's the other thing to consider. Did these streamers substitute having genuine in-person connections, or did they fill the void that had already existed because people already weren't going out and meeting new people and doing new things? They were being isolated and secluded from everyone else. You go to work, you eat, you sleep, you go home, and you watch this fucking thing because that's all you have. That's all you have. Are they just filling a void? Like did the divot in the pavement already exist, and then they are just the rain that fills that gap, that puddle? Probably. And that leads to a much deeper problem, or at least question. When did society get so fucking shallow and so empty that we need to fill our time that we would spend with loved ones and friends and family? Like, we would go out and learn new things, new hobbies. We would do things we genuinely enjoyed in the real world. When did that get replaced with being totally isolated, and why? Because I genuinely think they are just filling that void. People feel lonely and lost in this world, and I know because I've been there. I think everyone's probably been there. I can only speak for myself, but I guarantee that everyone has felt that way to some capacity. For some, it may be a tremendously overwhelming sense of isolation, and for others, it may be just a very small, almost just void that they can always sense around them, but it really doesn't affect their life in a very negative way. But we all feel it to some degree. And what caused that? I think the beautiful thing that streamers could do, and something that I would like to do in the future once I'm on here and I gain my audience, and my audience will trust me because I'm not one of these guys that will do that, for the record. I'm someone that is genuine and honest. I'm never going to sell out. I don't give a fuck. I literally don't give a fuck. I don't make any money from this. And even if I did make money from this, it wouldn't be tainted by greed. I'd be totally transparent. You want to see what I make and who paid me off? Boom. That's the difference between me and some of these other people. And are they more business minded than I am? Probably not. Probably not. I'm pretty well educated. I'm not willing to do that. And I don't care what anyone says. That's something that's off limits. Like I've said previously, art is not for sale. You don't monetize art because it corrupts it. It rots it from its core outward. And it makes it into something that isn't genuine. And people could see that. I have so much respect for Theo Von. People like Theo Von. I loved Theo Von, but why do we all like the old guys? Why do we all, and not old as in age, but we liked what they used to do instead of who they are now? It's because now Theo Von is the fucking Jimmy Kimmel show. He has on people and it's little jokes, promote your movie. They're like, Avengers in theaters, June 9th, come check it out. Now that I've talked to you for an hour about some ridiculous shit and how difficult it was to make the movie, and how I think you should see it. No, I don't give a fuck about that. I like Theo Von when he talks to bus drivers and valet limousine drivers and school lunch ladies and firemen and police officers, men and women. That's what I appreciate. He has genuine conversations. Don't become the Jimmy fucking Fallon show or Jimmy Kimmel or any Jimmy whatsoever. Just don't fucking do it. Be yourself. one thing I was going to say, one thing that I would love to do in the future that I think could make such a positive impact on this online world is rally people up into a group, right? We're all a group here. We're all subscribed. We all have ownership in this channel, and this is a place where we can all communicate with one another because we have common interests and goals. Why don't they take their following and do something positive that can exist within the real world with all of their similarly minded uh, audience members? Why don't they say, hey, we're doing a meetup in New York City? There's someone that a while ago, he actually did this now that I think about it. He he's a brilliant marketer, but what he did was he had, for instance, I forget exactly what it was, but let's say he had a Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest in New York City where he posted flyers and then he spread it across social media. And all those people have an experience now. They have a memory of a one off, crazy, very unique event that they all participated in real life. I don't want virtual reality to become real life because it's not. It's not real. You're in the fucking Truman Show and you don't even realize it. If you think that you know these people, you're in the fucking Truman Show. But it could turn into a good thing if we responsibly promote hanging out with each other outside of this uh, screen, outside of this technological box that we carry around and practically worship each and every single day. We're addicted to these things, and I think that it's a tool. You could use it to learn anything in the world, or you could watch plane crashes, cute cat videos, puppies, which really it's car crashes and domestic violence and bad police interactions and terroristic events and all the things that are totally, totally fucked about the world because you don't see that. That's in real life. If you were to see that, you would have to pay attention to it because it actually matters to you. It's such a one-off thing. And our brains are now wired to look out for that. It's like, whoa, something's totally off here. Is this going to affect me? I need to be paying attention to this. This is fucking crazy. The difference now is that we see that all the time. All the time. It's a drug. It's a drug to us. And our brain can't distinguish between something that is happening halfway across the world and something that's happening next door. That's why women love these true crime podcasts and the Dateline, whatever, NBC episodes or TV shows, because they always have to be cautious about the people around them. So they think that it's the same way that the news does it also. It's like 5 people dead in a plane crash in Mississippi. You're like, I didn't fucking need to know that. I mean, that's very tragic that happened, but I don't live in Mississippi. You know, it really doesn't affect me. I feel terrible for that whole ordeal and their loved ones. It's a terrible thing, but I don't need to know that. Like mass murderer, serial killer in wherever, Arizona. All right, well, that's terrible. I mean, local police, that should be on the local news for sure, but I don't know why I'm learning about it. It's because it's sensationalistic bullshit. It's basically technological pornography. That's what it is. And I know I just said that. This is going to get demonetized. It's totally fine because guess what? It's not monetized anyways. I can talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And no one can take that away from me. No one's going to take that away from me. And I'll never stop saying exactly what's on my mind. I won't get Theo Von'd out. And I love Theo Von, but this is what he's been doing recently is fucking ridiculous. He's having on all these celebrities, and that's cool, bro. That's cool. But make sure that it's for more than just promoting a new fucking movie or a new Netflix series. That's all I have to say. Anyways, this has been episode number 20. Thank you very much. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you don't, I may not know who you are, but I will find you. Thank you.